How we doing, Lions? Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing, Lions? Previously on Kimba TV. We had it yesterday too, where I said, I can't get bullish until we do a bullish retest. So, but I mean, and I talked about it this morning too. You think that's gonna get swept, or you think they're gonna leave it like that? I said it earlier. What kind of low do you want? When you get a high, do you want it like this? Don't you want it like this? Don't you want it like this? So what would that mean for the low? You want it like this, right? What is a good low and a bad low? I'll watch the box reaction for, I don't know, like an hour. It's not Thursday, but it's kind of like a little conclusionary pop quiz, if you will. Everything that we talked about yesterday, everything that we prepared for the last couple of weeks is pretty much execution time. So remember, when the bullets start flying, that's the real you. So use this as an opportunity to stay calm, cool, collected, execute your plan, read the data, and do your damn thing. Y'all ready? You better be ready. Y'all better be excited at least. The only thing we can really ask for as traders is volatility and the opportunity. So did we get everything? 56.85, we got that one, we got that one. Same thing as yesterday, y'all. Gotta be. It's gotta be. Manipulation. Gotta be. David Steele's asking, where's the bottom of your box? Well, first things first, do you know what this box represents? Were you here when I drew it? There could be some idiots that are thinking that this is like an entry box. It is not. Right? Do you know that the most probable structural edge that we would get is a failed auction? Schwiggity says it's a TP, not an entry. Exactly. These are the TPs for the last remaining bits of my shorts. Yeah. But as long as you know how, because if I feel like some people actually think, the people that aren't paying attention, oh, is that your entry? Fucking idiot. Don't make me delete it, right? Kimba, is that an entry? Is that an entry? Is that an entry? Oh my God, I'll delete it, right? And then, what do you mean you're in a long, Kimba? You deleted the box. God damn it, NSTR. I don't know what you guys don't know. You know what I mean? I've explained everything, but some of y'all just not paying attention. You know, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. Make sure that you understand all of these things. I went over it all millions of fucking times. You know what I mean? But just make sure that you understand why. The reason why I'm saying this is because you should be able to replicate this on your own. Everybody should be able to replicate this box on your own. It's really not that hard. Yeah, it goes to like 59,268. Alrighty. Do you understand that the best structural edge would not be a swing fail? You want a failed auction. So I don't know how many fucking times I have to say it, but if it's going to do something like this, maybe that would be the better place to do a thang so you at least know where your stop loss is supposed to be? Yeah, we're going to find out today who's actually listening, who knows what the fuck they're doing. Let's get it! Okay, sounds good, David. Yeah, I don't want you to think it's like a put blind limits there type of thing. You know what I mean? So it's going to be the same thing. What kind of structural edge do you have? What kind of OI edge do you have? What kind of divergence edge do you have? And what kind of S&P confluence edge do you have? And that's it. And you better be able to check these off. And or maybe you say, the open interest isn't helping me, but I've got the div and the S&P. It's good enough to take a trade. All right. Let's do it. It's really not that hard. I think some people make it a little bit harder than it is. But it's probably because they don't have enough patience, or like I always say, they don't know what they're doing. Kimba, what are we doing? Tell me. Watch the YouTube highlights, man. And then David, as long as you have all the CME levels, do you know where the CME single prints are? Do you know where the CME imbalances are? Houston, let's fucking go. Himmerblau, let's go. Police, let's go. Sati, Mazi, Manaka. Is there anybody that I haven't shouted out today? You guys know that you're the fucking best, right? I'm fucking so blessed, honored to have you guys with me. Kimba gang, let's fucking go, man. Lions, how we doing? Some people already in longs, right? Some people still holding on to some Pico top shorts, right? Some people waiting for that long, right? But let me tell you something. I don't give a shit what situation you're in right now. I'm rooting for you. If you're waiting for a position, I hope you get it. If you're already in one, I hope you don't get stopped out and you juice the fuck up. V001 says, I'm in short, dude. I hope you get it. I hope it goes to 47 for you. I hope everybody is fucking juicing, man. And maybe it's not economic juice. Maybe it's just learning shit. You know, some of you guys know what the math is, but it helps to see the probabilities play out, right? Sometimes it takes this kind of price action for you to be like, okay, I'm starting to believe in the math. I'm starting to believe in the math. How early did we start talking about unemployment? Was it 3 days ago, 4 days ago? Let me just kind of condense what we talked about, but you definitely need to understand the why. So if it's 4.4, is that bearish or good? If the forecast is 4.2, if it's 4.1, is that bullish or bearish? What about 4.3? Is that bullish or bearish? So, do you know how to interpret the data, Lazarus? It's hard for me to answer questions like that because I don't know what you don't know. I want you to go back and take a look at the previous unemployment, the previous non-farm, and when the numbers were bullish or bearish, how did the markets react? Was the initial move false? A lot of times what will happen is the numbers will come out, it might pump, and then it'll just dump. Sometimes the numbers will come out, and it might dump, and it might pump. Alrighty? Make sure you take a look at what Jerome Powell said in his speech the last couple times, okay? He does not want 4.4. So 4.4 would mean that we are wrong about trying to take a long from 59, basically. Okay? 4.2 would be bullish. 4.1 would be bullish. All right? So it's a combination of understanding fundamental economics, your experience in trading these days. Okay? If this is your first time trading unemployment, I would assume that you're going to go back and at least take a look at the 7, 8, 9, 10 unemployment numbers that have been coming out and preparing yourself for what kind of volatility there could be. So if you kind of take all that into consideration, me personally, I would love a 4.1 or a 4.2 with an initial move, debate, scam, dump. So I don't know how much of that sentence makes sense to you. Shadow says, would you still be as interested to long if it's 4.3? So Shadow, what am I going to say? We already talked about it. So that tells me that you either missed the morning stuff or you didn't rewind. So this is maybe like the 6th time that we're talking about it, Shadow. So it's going to just be a regurgitation. If you go back and rewind and listen to my organic full thought process, it's going to be a little bit better, Shadow. So 4.3 would bum me out a little bit. I would still take the long and I would just put stop loss at break even. I would try to hang on and try to not get stopped out until what? CPI next Thursday. All right. Okay, I missed this morning. Yeah, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff like that this morning. Do you really think, Shadow, that you're the first person to ask? What if it's 4.3? All right. So sixth or seventh time that we're talking about it. But I would basically, yes, I would still try to take it, and I would be looking for this. Crypto Damas says, Kimba, I'm long from 60,300 for 4th time. 3 break evens from yesterday got hit. Crazy. Hey, Crypto Damas, not financial advice, but you're probably going to be looking at a 4th one. What are you shaving a little bit at least, my guy? Don't, if it's, I can understand if you get round tripped the first time, the second time, the third time, you got to start. It's weird, right? Because you would think that the more times that you do it, it's going to work. Right? So it's easy to be like, well, this is my 3rd or 4th or 5th one. I'm going to go ahead and, hope that this is the home run, right? Whenever there's a low made, Crypto Damas, what do I always ask you? Is the low a good one? Right? So, 60,000 didn't get broken and it's a bad low. That's a tough one right there. I shave a little, not much. Okay, that's good. That's good, Crypto Damas. We're looking at the same thing though. Is that a good low or a bad low? So, to be honest with you, Crypto Damas, I don't need the long from down here. If it wants to pop and do a nice little bullish retest, and if it's like 7.5 or some type of shit, and I know that that's my invalidation, like if I do something like this, and it actually does do this, that's pretty cheap for me to take, because the stop loss is right here. I'm not going to cry over losing that much, but that's really sus. I think that's going to get swept. I would think that's like 65, 70% that going to get swept type of shit. So we'll see. We'll see. It gets exciting though, huh? You get to a point where like, I don't need to tell you anything, whether if it's a bad low or if there's a div or anything like that. I think you've been here long enough where, you're probably just as good as I am when it comes to trading. You know what I mean, Crypto Damas? It's really just up to this now. The U.S. market is closed, okay? Obviously, futures are running for 43 more minutes, but for me, brother, the only thing that I care about now is this. Everything that I'm going to do is going to be in preparation for this. So whether it's a bullish retest of the blue line, whether China gives us that sweep, I mean, how awkward would it be if we actually go down here during Macaulay? I don't want that. Does anybody want that? I don't want it to go down here during Macaulay because that means CME didn't sweep and we're fucking in the same boat again. Imagine if it goes down there and it starts pumping again. Like let's say in 43 minutes, CME, let's say that it does this for the next 43 minutes or whatever, right? CME pauses right here, okay? Bitcoin is right here. Okay, it's back inside the blue. Macaulay, bang, bang. Macaulay, bang, bang. No gap. CME still keeps going. CME is like doing this and Bitcoin's doing this. You're like, what the fuck? But Maya Bio, basically it just, so this is volume based off of time. So at this time, there was this much volume. At this time, there was this much volume. This tells you how much volume there was at that price. So at that price, there was that much volume. At this price, there was that much volume. Make sense? Yeah, it's the same as this, but instead of it telling you how much volume there was at a certain time, it's telling you how much volume there was at a certain price level. All right, but 1904 would be the next level. So if this doesn't do a quick little boink boink, then I would be looking at 1900 next. Coney says, I'm new here. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, well, this is what I would say, Coney. We're not in the business of trying to predict the future. We don't go, well, we're going to put blind limits here and it's going to bounce there, so we're going to long there. That's not what we do. What we'll do is we'll say, all right, these are the levels that I like to maybe think about longing, and these are the levels that I like that I might think about shorting. So we identify levels to the upside, levels to the downside. Okay, step number one, identify levels. Step two is edge. So how do you know that this is actually a good place to long? Well, you might have things like structural edge. Okay, so what is structural edge? Well, bullish structure. It could be a swing fail, a failed auction, a 3 drives, or a Kimba crown. Okay, so that's structural edge. You might have open interest edge. How do you know if something is bullish or bearish? Well, if open interest is going up and price is going up, then that's bullish. If open interest is going down, but price is going up, that's not bullish because that's just a short squeeze. If price is going down and open interest is going up, then that's bearish because shorts are opening. If price is going down and open interest is going down, that's a long squeeze, right? Open interest is going down means that positions are getting close. That's not bearish. So things like, okay, well, maybe we get structural edge with a failed auction. Maybe right here, there's some sort of hidden bull div or regular bull div. Maybe as we go down, it's stopping out all of the longs. It's not shorts opening. Alrighty. And there's lots of different ways that you can find edge. It could be structural. It could be open interest. It could be divergences with oscillating data like MACD or RSI or CVD. You might want to look at CVD on volume-based candles versus time-based candles. Alrighty. You're going to be comparing and contrasting how Bybit, Binance, Coinbase, and CME all have reactions at that level. All right. So identify levels, anticipate edge. If you see edge, take it. Alrighty. And I know that it kind of sounds complicated and complex and a lot of tasks to do fairly quickly during the heat of the moment, during volatility. But with experience and time, it's going to just be like muscle memory. You're going to be able to make your decisions fairly quickly. Alrighty. So that's kind of like the abstract version of it. So sounds good? Yeah, but if you kind of get like the basic steps and you start working on those things. So like, for example, I talked about identify levels to the upside and levels to the downside. Well, how do you do that, right? So levels in and of itself has its own sort of hierarchy. You've got volume, okay? So that's how you use things like volume profile or fixed range volume profile. You see how I have this range selected? I have it selected from here to here. And I know exactly where the value area low, value area high point of control is, right? VWAP, things like VWAP, volume weighted average price. All right, so that's just volume. Then you have things like time-based levels. So this is TPO. See this when I turn it off, turn it back on, turn it on, turn it back on. So if volume, if this is indicating to you how much volume there was at a specific price, this is the TPO is kind of telling you how much volume there was or how much time there was at each price. So just like how this tells you, hey, there was the most amount of volume here, this is telling you things like it spent the most amount of time here. It spent the most amount of time here. Okay, and then you get things like it didn't spend any time there. Those are single prints. So you have volume-based levels, time-based levels, and then you have things like mathematical levels, Fibonacci, for example. So you can go like this and you can say, oh, the 7.5 is right where the single print is. So it's taking all of that, identifying levels, and then taking the data and then working them together and seeing what your actual high probability plays are. So pretty cool, right? It's really not that complicated once you kind of get into the hang of things, but just like riding a bike, you're going to fall down a couple times, you know, maybe scratch up your kneecap or something. Refu, you got it. Awesome, man. Congratulations. Lord Spaniard says, what did you use to plot the dash yellow horizontal lines? When I put them down, they're all done live. So, you know, going back and kind of seeing when I drew them and me explaining it would be your best bet. These yellow lines are the result of the level identification process that I talked about. So what I'll do is I'll look at volume levels, I'll look at time levels, and I'll look at mathematical levels, and the ones that have the most amount of confluence make it onto here. So if it's a sweep level that also lines up with 7.5 and it also happens to be like a volume point of control, it'll make it on there. Yep. And you know, there is no right or wrong. Just because I have a level and you don't, or you have a level and I don't, it doesn't mean one of us is right and one of us is wrong. So if you have something that I don't have, it doesn't mean that it's invalid. If yours is a little bit different than mine, that's okay too. But you want to start practicing. Sounds good, brother? But yeah, if you keep watching me, Lord Spaniard, you're eventually going to be here when I put these lines on. And if you see me putting a line on, you can ask me at that moment if you want. But if you're paying attention, I'm probably explaining why I'm putting that yellow line on. But continue to pay attention. And I don't, it's not like I put the lines on, you know, when I'm not streaming or anything like that. All of these things are identified live with you guys. So eventually you're going to see me put new blue lines or new yellow lines, and you feel free to ask me why I'm doing it. But if you're watching, I'm sure you're going to pick up on it pretty quickly. All right, Spaniard, but it's a combination of volume-based levels, time-based levels, and mathematical-based levels. And the ones that have the most amount of confluence or overlap, that's the ones that will usually make it on here. What do you guys want to talk about? I got a little bit of time before I'm going to go hang out with baby girl. What does POC mean? Point of control. Yeah, so what I want you to do, Coney, maybe this weekend, is watch my tutorial video on volume profile. I'm just kidding. I can't wait to say that. Go to YouTube and just type like volume profile, or you could even type POC trading, you know, and you're going to know. It's basically where the most amount of volume is. All right. So point of control is a very, very, very important thing that you've got to understand. So no, I was just joking. I don't have any tutorials, brother. Yeah, I'm working on them, but the thing is, it feels a little bit cringy making tutorials because I honestly don't think I'm going to share anything that's going to be spectacular. I think maybe some people prefer the way that I explain things. At least I know when I make my own videos, I know what was explained and how it was explained. So if you guys tell me, nah, this didn't make sense, or like you guys are coming to me with like weird conclusions, then I know what was, you know, I know exactly what was fed to you guys. But there's a lot of amazing stuff about volume profile and point of control. So just because I don't have videos doesn't mean that it's an excuse for you to not nerd out. So, but I am slowly but surely working on these things. So at least I know what was said and how it was explained. Gene Gao says, check Mandalo YouTube. Mandalo is an amazing resource. So yeah, make sure you check out Mandalo's YouTube channel. All right, well, new daily. So let's take a look at where this thing is at. I think I already refreshed this. Yeah, so it's an inside day. Daily open is inside value area high, previous day point of control, and previous day value area low. Pretty close to each other. So, Banana Man, when those yellow line levels will be invalid since we had them for a month on Summit. Yeah. When those yellow line levels will be invalid. Well, it depends on how the price breaks through. So I've got the higher time frame yellow lines that won't really get moved until basically, brother, until we get out of this range. I don't think any of the yellow lines in this range I would think about deleting. Once we leave the range, I will probably go do something like go to the 8 hour. Okay. Once we leave this range, I will clean this up after. You know, just like how I cleaned up this shit after we left. Look how little the levels are that remained. But this shit down here looked as chaotic as this, but I cleaned it up after we left, right? I'll probably clean it up after we leave. But until then, I'll probably keep... I mean, I think some of these can get cleaned up. So like this doesn't have to be here. Almost all of the blue probably can get deleted. So we can do that right now if you want. Yeah, I probably would like to keep this on. Yeah, the rest I'll probably just keep. Yeah, I don't want to force anything that I don't need to. But probably, I would say by November, December, we'll clean all this shit up. For sure. Would you ever go all in, low leverage, one macro position, like a daily time frame test on a fib, golden pocket 7.5? No. You lost me at would you go all in? I don't know. The thing is, brother, how many times have you gone all in and you got wrecked? I've gone all in many times, and holy fuck, I can probably count on one hand when it actually worked. You know, and it's so awkward when you're in a big position. It's like, I hated being in like a 250, 200 Bitcoin position on MEXC because those stop loss hunts are brutal. Imagine market opening or market closing a position with 200, 250 Bitcoin. It sucks. So yeah, no, I don't really, I would never go all in. Would I ever, I think what you mean is, would I ever get hyper aggressive and do a trading position that would be abnormally large, right? Maybe if there's enough confluence, but I would never go all in. I've done that enough times where it's like, I think I would say that maybe 95% of the time I went all in the last 10 years of trading, I got wrecked. So how many times does it take for me to realize that that's probably not the best way to do it? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you can go all in and make it work, do it. I don't give a shit. I don't know if that's really like good risk management, but God knows that I can't pull it off. So I'm not going to do it. Daywalker says, Kimbo, besides bottom shorters, what else would you consider edge? I usually add CVD divs to it, but that's after the move already happened. but I never get the 7.5 like you do. What am I missing? Well, are you anticipating the divs, for example? Daywalker. So I'll give you an example. Divs, RSI, most oscillating data in general is lagging, correct? So let's say, for example, that the price is doing this, okay? And it's right there, okay? So this is the price, but this, let's say that this is the RSI, okay? You are anticipating something like this happening, so you need what? The open interest to be looking like this. So basically what I'm saying is when the price is right here, is the RSI already like this too? Is it already like that? Or are you able to notice, oh shit, like this is already right here, but this is way far. So you're already thinking to yourself, there already might be an edge. You don't wait for this to happen and then you go, oh fuck, there's a CVD edge. You don't do that. You try to anticipate like this. If the price is already at a same low and it's still continuing and there's more momentum left, but the RSI or the CVD didn't drop as far, you can start to anticipate, can you not? And this becomes a lot easier if the RSI looks like this and the CVD looks like this. If the CVD is already looking like this, it's probably not going to happen. So it's the ability to compare and contrast the pattern. All right, Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss.